Hello and welcome to another PlayBASIC tutorial. In this one I thought we'd have a look at just understanding the PlayBASIC IDE, or you can call it the code editor if you like, or just the editor, but whatever floats your boat. So when you first start up PlayBASIC, this is what you're going to be confronted with. A blank screen with nothing on it and a cursor flashing going, hey, do something with me. I can type in some code, as you've probably seen before, and run it by using the run control up here. There are different kinds of execution. F5, or just the run option, runs the application with no debugging information in it. It's kind of the simplest form. But what I actually wanted to look at really is where you find the help files. So over here there'll be a thing called PlayBASIC reference, or you can go up to the help menu and you get help on the PlayBASIC IDE itself. You can get help on a keyword, you can get help with the keyboard scan codes, or you can go to the PlayBASIC reference. Yeah, it's kind of it's off the screen. Alright, I'll just pull it into the middle here and have a bit of a look. So if you get to this point, you've opened up the help files and gone, wow, there's a lot of stuff in here, what the hell do I do? Which is a valid thing. Absolutely. Now, I'm using PlayBASIC 165. Yours might look a bit different. You might be using an old version of PB. We are going to be updating all the old versions up to the standard version at some point. Anyway, if you're brand new to programming, all of this stuff here is probably not for you initially. What you want to do is you want to find your way to the About section, which is the top one here. Click on that, click on the link there. It takes you to a game where there's got more options or more pages for you to look at. The first section is really about PB itself, things like the credits, and there's some known bugs in it and some stuff about the help files and that kind of junk. Some limitations, a bit about libraries, and the naming convention stuff is actually talks about kind of why the commands have certain structure, the way they're named. Bit on registration too, to help those people out. But if this is your first time looking to code, the section in here, the Learn Programming section, is really what we're going to be looking at initially. I would say the things that you want to look at first is you want to take a look at the variables tutorial at the bottom, have a bit of a quick look at it. And these tutorials, I write them, and they're not Shakespeare. I'm certainly not a great author by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm trying my best to make these things sort of make sense. You will find some jargon throughout them. Unfortunately, it's kind of a reality of trying to learn programming. Anyway, so what I was going to say is that most of the tutorials read from top to bottom, so they kind of take an idea and expand the idea as you go down through. You can use the index up here to jump to certain parts. They have kind of frequently asked questions, if you might think of it. Let's have a look at that one there. What operations can be performed between variables? And we've got some math expressions here, and sort of jumping into things you can do with these variable things. At the moment we're not really talking about what they are. Okay, so variables is probably the first place you're going to be looking at. After that you're going to be looking at probably something along the lines of loops. It's quite a good one. You've got, these are how to make certain parts of the program repeat There are different types of loop constructs. They have different uses, and yeah, repeat until is a classic one. You've got while, end while, another classic one there as well. Of course, the for next loop. We've got some exit controls and some continue controls, but so loops is another good place to have a good look through. If you kind of know a bit about programming already, you're probably pretty bored by that stuff, and you want to head into arrays. So arrays are really just ways. They're extensions of variables. It's a way of handling a lot of information inside one structure. Think of them like a bucket. You can put lots of things inside the bucket. The standard kind of analogy is probably like a filing cabinet or something, that kind of thing, where you put all this information in the filing cabinet and you can find whatever file you want later on by using a numerical index. Okay, so this help section here has a lot of this kind of stuff. So probably variables is a good place to have a look at first up. Try the examples out. You know, you've got to, let's have a look at one. We'll just scroll down. Probably some example code. There we go. Not really runnable, that code. The further we go down, we'll start to see. Well, here we go. We've got this thing here. We'll cut and paste it across. Alright, so it's given us a piece of code there to test, and if we run this, absolutely nothing will happen. The program compiled, executed, and returned back to the editor without you even noticing it's done that. If we print the value though, and then call sync and then have a wait key to stop the thing from exiting back to, we can see that some results of that thing there, of that program I should say. Let's go back to the about section, and as you can see, the variables section alone is quite long, and it's not great reading. It's pretty sort of boring reading really, but it's necessary reading if you want to get into programming at some point. I think you'll notice as you go further down the page, the examples get more and more elaborate. We're doing more and more elaborate things. Here's an example, probably a better one to pick out than the other one. It actually does something. We'll just pull the help window over here for a second, because I'll end up getting pushed to the back. Cut that into the page and I'll delete that other stuff we had in there already. Let's have a look at it. Okay, we hit F5 to run it, or we can use the button up here, but I just normally use F5. And this particular example draws a couple of circles. Okay, so it's using variables up here to define some coordinates and the radius of a circle, and it's drawing the first instance of it. Then we're changing that variable and drawing a second instance of it in its new position. So it's kind of leading you towards ideas like controlling characters inside video games. Anyway, so variables is a great place to have a look at. Our loops is a great place to have a look at. Comparisons is a necessary thing as well. Arrays, you'll need those at some point as well. So once you start getting used to this kind of constructs that programs have, then we need to look at things like, okay, these command sets that are back here all the stuff in here, these are all about commands. Commands can do all kinds of strange things. You've got commands to draw images, there's commands to draw lines, or there's commands to do mathematical operations, or to do collisions and all kinds of stuff. Or, you know, let's have a look at some of it. Alright, there's a font. I'll just highlight that. So there's a set of commands that deal with fonts. This is the way text appears inside your program. So you would just click on this here. You're taken to another list of command names that are in it, and we're trying to categorize them out a little bit. So if you want to load or create a font, these commands here are used to deal with that. To delete a font is delete font. Changing the display font. You've got things like, in other words, you can have multiple fonts loaded into memory, and then if you want the text styling to change, you would need to set a different font and change it. We've got some commands for dealing with creating bitmap fonts, some conversion commands there as well. Sometimes you might want to load in a Windows TrueType font and then convert it to some other format, and this stuff can get quite deep if you want to. You know, if you just sat down and tried to read your way through all of these commands individually, you're not going to get anywhere. It doesn't work like that. You need to have very simple goals. Wrap your head around some of this programming stuff in here. And once you're kind of feeling pretty good about that, I would point you in the direction of something along the lines of sprites. This tutorial down here. That's the one where you should be spending your time. And this is a very long tutorial actually. Way too long for me to go through here. I've got some examples taken from old games. What's that game called? Who Framed Waldo? Oh, that's right. That's written back in 2008, so almost 10 years ago now. Right, so I've kind of trying to cover a lot of the common questions that come in about this kind of stuff, and hopefully you can sort of wrap your head around these things as you go along. I've cross-referenced some of this stuff too, so you can click on the link here, take you to maps. You know, if you want to go back, you would just click the back link up here. Takes you back to where you were. This is the up. It takes you. Since we're in the, I think we're in the sprites section at the moment. We can go out of sprites and up one layer. Got some stuff here on the map controls, you know, some basic examples about how to make blocks and how levels are constructed, and things about animations. This is actually a good example. This one here has an attached project example with it. So we'll try that. Let's see if it runs. Okay, it's not a very thrilling example. But it just shows you a map with these blocks here, these very simple blocks here, and the bottom section here is actually the level itself that's drawn out. Probably constructed at random, I didn't check the code. Let's have a look. So we're making a map here, setting the size of the tiles it's going to use, and then, we're randomly making the block graphics here. Going down, we're importing the block graphics into our map, throwing away the old image because we don't need that anymore, creating a level, filling it full of random tiles, and then drawing it, and sitting and waiting for a key to be pressed. So, not too exciting, but again, it's just there to give you some insight on whatever concept we're talking about at the time. Alright, let's get out of there. Okay, so that's pretty much the help files, and I really do, I really want to stress that, in here is where you're going to be starting, and with variables first, and loops is a good one, arrays. Once you've kind of got through this stuff here, it takes you to ideas about what you should look at next. So, okay, we're looking at loops next, or functions or subroutines, types, and types are a more elaborate way of storing information again. They're more elaborate, but they tend to be more convenient, particularly in larger programs. Okay, so that kind of gives you a bit of an insight on how to get help on stuff. Just if you want to create a new project, just go up here to new and then blank project, and we've got an empty project in here. If you want to set the name, then you go to project, down to settings, and you set your name as, you know, Billy Bob or something like that. Who knows? And you'll notice the change up here in the settings at the top here. These are actually just information about your project that are on screen to you. Your code goes down here, so your code is down here. Hello. As you would no doubt have seen by now a few times. Very exciting. You can do other things in the project. It depends on which version of the product you have as to what's going to be in this menu here. Things that you will probably have are the screen title. This is my game. And that'll be the title of the window when the game is executed. You can set a window size. We'll go a bit smaller, 640 by 480. Okay, when we run it again, we'll have a smaller window with a title window up here. And these are the kind of things that you pretty much all you really need to get going. There's more sophisticated stuff in here for debugging. Got some file association things and configuration things, but generally to get going, that's where I'd be looking at. The other place too is the forums. You know, jumping on the forums, and this computer's not attached to the internet. I just remembered that just then. Well, there you go. So we can't do that here. But jump on the forums. There's they're underweardesign.com/forums/. Well, I hope that gives you some indication about how to use the product, and some working out some things about the IDE. Probably should have a quick look at how we load existing projects. Go to open, and that's probably outside of the screen. I'll just pull that down for us. Sorry about that. Okay, the load dialog. Now it defaults to actually the default set of projects that come with PlayBASIC. Some demos and all kinds of things that are in there. I've got a few game examples there. What's something really simple? No, that one there. This is yet another Asteroids clone. We would pick that file and load it. Now this might actually be set up to have the window much larger than what the yeah, it is. We'll run it anyway. Okay, F5 to run this thing, and it's now running. So I'll just pull that down a little bit. This game uses F1 to regenerate the player. I just died again. Damn. You know, Asteroids, pretty much. Good old Asteroids. I'll just squash the window up a bit to fit it on screen for you. Okay, so flying around doing that cool stuff. Create a bunch of objects to crash into. Respawn the player. Ooh, boom. I don't know how well this is capturing, by the way, I wouldn't have a clue. So it's a bit of a mess to look at. But, you know, as you can see, you can do some pretty sort of neat stuff with PB. Let's hit escape in that game to get out of it. When was that made? 2009 apparently. So, okay, that will just about have to do us. And sorry, we can go to the reopen section there as well. Oh, it's outside the window again. Sorry about that. So any recently loaded project, you go up here and let's say we wanted to load that game again, that source code again. And this particular project is one big file by the looks of things. If you want help on something, what you do is you hover over the command, particularly if the command is, or the keyword is red, that's a built-in keyword of some description, and you would hit F1. It should take you to that page within the help. So one of my best advice, or one of the best advice I can give people really is to look at other people's programs and mess around with them and actually, you know, make them break, understand why something is broken, try and, you know, add different things to it, try and just do simple things like trying to change the colours or change the speed of it, something moving or something like that. This game has some comments in it, but not a lot. Some. Yeah. Okay. But, so what I'm trying to say there is that you kind of learn by participating in your own education. Another trick that a lot of people still don't know is you can, these statements here include statements. You can hit up here and you can open file at cursor. It will load that source code into memory. This particular source code is one of the default libraries that comes with PlayBASIC. Just a set of functions we've sort of simplified for you. Nothing special. But that library there does the kind of shadowing sort of effect that the game sort of had, or the debris sort of effect, I guess you'd call it. Okay, let's end it, or sort of end it up there. Alright, so hopefully you're not too bored. Quick recap. So our help is under here, PlayBASIC reference. And if you're very new, then finding a way to the about section here and hacking on, you know, going through the stuff here, playing with the examples, banging your head against the wall, that's the way to get started. And then use what you learn in there when you kick on out and look at some of the bigger examples. We've got some bigger tutorials down the bottom here. And a whole bunch of other stuff in here as well. I mean, you'll find all kinds of stuff embedded within the documentation. You'll find it's listed with examples, and most commands have examples. The sprite section, for example, and core commands. We've got all kinds of stuff in there. Yes. Rambling on now. Rambling. Alright, so that's pretty much going to have to do for this session. And hopefully that'll help you find your way around PlayBASIC when you first install it. I'd just like to wish you good luck with your programming, and if you have any troubles, jump on the forum and actually participate in the conversation, participate in, you know, ask other people questions, you know, post what you're doing, you know, share that information with each other, and that will help not only you improve, but other people will improve as well. So thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you some other time. Happy programming. Bye.